I still remember the room started shaking. There were banging sounds coming from the earth. I was worried about my family. I tried to call, but the phone was not working. We had no idea how that day would change our country forever. In 1950, my father, he came from India to Nepal. When he came, there were not a single baptized Christian here in Kathmandu Valley because to become a Christian was illegal. In the early days, there were persecution from the government. Many of our brothers and sisters, they've been to prison. I was born here in Nepal. From the small boy, I was involved in the ministry here with my father. He is 90 years old now. So the church passed to May. When Nepal was declared as secular state, we had much more liberty. People see Christians as low caste, untouchable. Our relationship with our neighbors was cold because we have taken the Western religion. They reject the Christians. There was a time when they used to pray that this country will be a Christian nation, but I couldn't say amen to that prayer. I had doubts about it. On that day, we had just had our lunch and the room started shaking. We had experienced earthquakes in the past, but this time the shaking didn't stop. Everybody ran out. I was left behind and it was shaking more and more. People were in the streets. Some people were injured. I still remember the teaching that Bill Hybels gave when I heard about the Global Leadership Summit for the first time. The local church is the hope of the world. I want all the leaders from this country to attend the GLS. When the earthquake happened, I was worried about my family and the church. We are told that it's not safe. There were big cracks on the road. Houses were collapsed. People were injured in the streets. When I arrived at the church, the walls of our church premises were collapsed. My family was sitting inside the compound, and I was quite relieved to see them safe. There was so much chaos going on. The neighbors were on the street. They were afraid to go back to their homes. They didn't have any place to go. Thanks to the generous donors around the world, we had just had the first GLS. I remember the local church is the hope of the world. So the first thing we did was to open the gates to anyone who was looking for a shelter. Even though our relationship with our neighbors was stale, they slept whole week here with their families. We tried to provide for the whole community. They needed clothes, food, and the utensils. We also became aware of people in remote villages who were completely cut off. So our church sent teams of volunteers to provide aid where it was needed most. We heard from the people that they saw the caring heart of the church. Before the earthquake, we had big walls, but after the wall collapsed, we decided to build so that people can see what's going on inside the church. Through GLS, we are not only training our Christian leaders, but we are approaching the leaders from the other sectors also. I want all the leaders from this country to attend the GLS because we have the desire to win the city. The GLS will change everything, not only the spiritual lives of our people, but it will change the economic, financial, in every aspect of their lives. It will change. The earthquake has enabled us to seek God's plan in our lives because we are here in this earth not to fulfill our will. We're here to fulfill our God's plan. That should be the church's only desire and vision. I believe our local church is the hope of this country, Nepal.